Hey crafters, this is Nye. Today what we are going to do, we are going to assemble our Father's Day exploding box paper craft. I'm going to be using my art glitter glue here for all of my gluing. I also have my tweezers here that I will be using, as well as my bone folder to help me to make sure that I get my score lines sharp and crisp. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started right away. Now, as you can see, I have all of my pieces, they are cut out, and I do have them kind of lined up in the positioning that I want for gluing. What we are going to do is we are going to begin by just gluing some of them down first. Now, before I went ahead and I started the video, I actually went through and I glued down all of the yellow stars first. I did that because some of these pieces were just super tiny and I didn't want to take the time to spend just gluing that down with the video. Plus, I didn't want to lose them here on my table. So as you can see, what I'm doing now is I'm actually just starting to glue down some of the larger stars now. When you're gluing these down, you do kind of want to make sure that put them at different angles. Don't just keep everything straight at like the 90 degree, because you kind of want to add a little bit of just variation to the eye as you go to look at it. So, don't hesitate to put things on an angle and change them up here. I should probably be using my tweezers in my hand as well, just to kind of make sure that I'm putting these down differently. I'm also going to go ahead and use some foam dots here for the Super Dad and the trophy. So I'm going to start on this one first. And basically what we're doing is this one's just going to be a lot of piecing the paper together. It's not a difficult craft to do, but there's just lots of little pieces to kind of really make this one come together. And so it's really just a lot of paper piecing right now. So as you can see, I had that glued and I just held it between my fingers to make sure that I got the orientation correct and in the same position here. Now for this larger one is bigger than this. And what I kind of want to do is just kind of eyeball where in the center it's going to be. So kind of just make your best guess. You don't want to have it too close to one edge and you don't want to have it too close to the other edge. You do kind of want to just get it right there in the middle. And then once you do, just add a little bit more glue. And then again, just place it down kind of in the center of the square. Now, again, you kind of want to eyeball this. Don't put it all the way over here or over there, like kind of eyeball it so it lines up right in the center. All right, so that looks great. And oh, I was going to use a foam dot in the back of that one, but oh well, we'll do it for the other side. All right, and so I'm adding glue here again to the back. And again, we're doing a lot of eyeballing here. Just kind of place it down right in the center. If we wanted to go for perfection, what I would have had to do is add score lines into everything so that way you would be able to line everything up just right. And I just felt like that would have made a little bit more steps for us. And so I decided not to do that there. So I already did that one. Let's do this part here. And I am going to grab my tweezers and just kind of add a little bit of glue here into the back as well. And so again, too, with some of these smaller pieces, you don't necessarily need to add glue to every single piece and spot, but you do. I just got to put this down. See, it's hard to kind of talk and do sometimes at the same time. It doesn't have to, you don't have to add the glue everywhere on the back of an item, but you do just kind of want to add it generally throughout an area. So that one's a little off there. I'm going to add a foam dot to the back of this one. So I'm going to put this one right there and I'm going to add another one to the back here. And all this is going to do is just kind of pop it up a little bit and give it a little bit more of a 3D appearance. And I was going to do that too for the Super Dad on the other side, but I just got a little too glue happy there. And so We'll just put this one there. It just adds something a little bit more to it for when Dad goes to open it up. All right, that looks great. And then I'm going to add glue now to the back of this. And then just, again, eyeball this kind of right here into the center and glue it down. And so again, when you're doing this too, you do want to make sure that you're not getting too close to the center where the score line is. All right, so we're going to do the same thing now with the Happy Father's Day sign here at the back. And I'm going to just put this one down first. So I'm going to add the glue here to the back first. And then again, just eyeball it kind of right in the center there. And once you have it, then you can add glue to the back of this piece here. And then just, you know, again, like I said, you don't have to add the glue to every single part of the letter, but you do kind of want to get a lot of the bigger sections just to make sure that it sticks and it doesn't come up at all. So I'm going to get a little bit here and there. And then once you have it, I'm going to hold it. And I must have gotten glue there on the back. All right, I'm going to hold it here with my finger. And then again, just press it down so it's kind of lining up in the middle there. All right, that looks great. I'm pretty happy with that one. All right, let's do this top part up here. Let's work with the stars first. And I'm just going to add a little bit more glue. And so this one too would be really fun because if you wanted to add more than one gift card, you could probably get away with just like sticking a gift card right there onto these pieces. So like if you wanted to give Dad multiple gift cards and not just one like big lump sum one, you could definitely go ahead and add multiple gift cards there. Especially like if there's always multiple different places where they want to go and, you know, spend money and whatever. So that's just a possibility as well, an option if you wanted to do that. And so for this one, I'm going to actually hold this here between my fingers just to make sure that I'm getting it in the right position. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Check orientation when you're layering pieces on top of each other like this, only because you want to make sure that you've got the right orientation and that, you know, you didn't add the glue to the wrong side. Because then sometimes you might actually have to end up recutting it, and that's not fun because then we start to waste our cardstock, and that's always upsetting. At least for me it is. Okay, so I'm just gluing down here the other side, and I'm going to check my orientation first to make sure, like, let's see if I flipped it this way, would it still work? Yeah, it looks like it would. So at least the ties could probably go either way, which is nice to know. Okay, so we're getting close to finishing this paper piecing part. And once you have it there, that's good. I added that as well. So now all we're going to do is just add some glue down. This would be another one too if you wanted. You could also add your foam dots here to the back. That would look really cute. And then you do kind of want to place it down. So again, when you go to add this one, you just kind of want to take your time and put it down right there in the center. Okay. And then once you have that finished, then we're going to add glue now to the back of this piece here. And then again, just eyeballing it down. It's like a stray hair or something. All right. And then just kind of getting it right there in the center. And I just shifted it when I moved my hand. That looks a little bit better there. It still looks off, but I think the glue's probably dried, so stay lovey. Okay, so now we've got the center piece here, and this ribbon piece is going to go on the top part of the box. We've got this center piece, and then we have a score line that runs right across here at the base. And then we just kind of have the sides. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just folding right here where the score lines are. Now, I'm going to use my bone folder for this side, for all the sides except for this one here that where I added the foam dot, only because I don't want to press that down that far with it. Okay, so I'm just using my bone folder to just crease those score lines and make sure that they're working. I can actually go this way if I really want, and then what I could do is use my bone folder there, and then you can just flip it the other way. All right, so once you have that, that's good. Now we're ready to kind of grab this piece here. So let's do this part first, and then we'll save the lid for the last. Okay, so we've got this piece. This is going to be where our gift card actually sits. And so when you take a look at it, you're going to see that there's a flap at both top and bottom, and then there's like the opening. What we're just going to do is just fold it right there in half, and then we're going to fold the flaps down here at the bottom. And again, this is where you want to use your bone folder, just making sure that those score lines there are coming out crisp. And I'm going to add it there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this base that has our score line right down the center, and we are going to add glue to one side of the flap first. So you've got the opening. You do want to make sure too that when you're gluing it, you have the part of this section here where you see like the semicircle, that when Dad opens it, this part is going to be facing the front, because it's just like a little peekaboo, so that way you can see the gift card once it's in there. Okay, so you want to make sure that you've got your orientation. You don't want to put it backwards so you can't see the gift card. You want to make sure that it's going this way. And I'm going to lift this part up. I'm going to add glue right along this tab. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to line up the tab that you just added and the score line kind of right below the line that's going right through the center here. So eyeball it in the center and add it right there on the line. Okay, so once you have it, then you can press it down and you can see it right there. Make sure that the glue has a chance to dry. So just press it down so that way it bonds. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add glue to this side, and we're going to press it down, but we're not going to push it so that it's smack right up against. We're going to add just a little bit of space. So that way, let me see if I can show it to you this way. We're going to glue it so that way there's just a little bit of a gap right in between here. So that way, once we fit our gift card right through the center, it will go right down towards the bottom, okay? You don't want to seal it off like that. We want to have a little bit of an opening, okay? So I'm going to add my glue to this tab, and then I'm going to just place it right there, but also so I have a little bit of an opening. And then I'm going to press this down and give it a chance to dry. And so again, you can see there's a little bit of a gap in between right there, okay? It's not sealed completely. All right, so once you have that going, then we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna fish this one right over it. Now I'm only doing this so you guys can see it first. Hold on, there it goes. So I'm only doing this so you guys can see it first, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the glue. And so you can see it's gonna go right down. And it's just going to hide those tabs for us. That's all that this part really is, okay? It's just a little decorative piece to hide the tabs for us. So I'm going to lift this part back up. Then we're going to add glue to the back side. And I'm actually just going to really spend more time going around the edges here to make sure that not just so much in the center. All right. And then we're just going to press it down. And then again, when you're gluing this part as well, you want to make sure that you're staying within the circle, or not the circle, the square there. So that way it's somewhat centered, okay? And so you can see it right there, just like that. All right, so it's kind of perfect. It's pretty cool. Then you can take your gift card and slide it right through the slot right there, and it just sits and it kind of holds it up. All right, so we're almost there. You can kind of already see the form of what we're going for. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on the lid. So the lid of the box is very simple. We've got our side with the score lines. All we're going to do is take our bone folder and get those score lines crisp here. Okay, so everywhere that there's a score line, I'm folding just to make sure that I'm making those score lines crisp here, and then we're going to start gluing it together so that way we can seal off our box for Dad. And you know something too, if you wanted to leave something in here blank, you could go ahead and do that and then write a handwritten note to Dad. That would be fun as well for him, because handwritten stuff is always fun, just like homemade stuff is always fun. All right, so all I'm doing now is I'm folding this the opposite way. I forgot this piece here, so let me just grab that one there. And I'm folding the tabs, so that way what's going to happen here is that I'm going to create a box or an open box that's like this. All right, now I'm going to use my glue to add glue to the tabs here. And then I'm going to take it and fold it right there. And I'm going to hold this here for just a moment so that way it has a chance to dry. And again, I'm just doing the same thing on the other side. And just pressing it down there. And then doing the same thing on the opposite side as well. Adding the glue and then giving it a chance to dry here. And again, just pressing everything down and making sure that everything is secure. And then for this last side, same thing. And so this is another one of those crafts too that, you know, you could use some pattern cardstock. Don't be afraid of it. You know, really go to town and make yours alive and bold by just adding in some really cool colors and patterns with it. That would really step it up a little there too. All right, so we've got our bow that we're going to stick on the top. This is another one of those things too, like if you didn't want to add this bow, you don't have to. You could go ahead and add more of a 3D style bow, or you could actually use ribbon. That would be really fun. All we're doing though with this is we're just going to add glue to the back, kind of line up the edges there, press it down, and then we're going to do the same thing with this part of the bow. And then pressing that down as well. And lining everything up once you've got it there, and just making sure that it's layered one right on top of the other. And then when you go to close it, just kind of use your hands to hold it together. Well, you could probably only do the 3 sides, but you'll see. And then just use the top part of the box there to get it going. And there you go. Once you've got it, you'll see it'll all come together, and there. Okay? And so it just adds something really fun. It seals right up, and then when Dad goes to open it, he just lifts off the lid and it opens up. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I hope Dad enjoys it. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and have fun crafting. Thanks for watching. Bye.